So 16. Okay, thanks, Sonia. All right, so Matthew Sprague, basically talking about the customer experience and the engine overview, who I've known Matt now for quite a while, man. I think we've known each other for quite a while now.
Yeah.
We've been on some very good Christian retreats. I know y'all think I don't have a Lord in my life. I really do. He's in my life, really heavy. So for all you ladies and guys don't think I have it, I have a little bit of it, right? I'm just crazy. I speak my mind, right, Matthew?
Oh, yeah.
But no, I've known Matthew for a while through Scott Wozniak and his company, and Matt went to work for Scott's company, and I'm quite sure it's been a great addition. And Leanne, I'm not sure how long you worked with Scott, but Scott's a great man, and been a really inspirational person in my life too. Especially learning things, with Matt and the guys that we had to retreat with, talking about the Lord and how we facilitate certain things together, how we come together, how we help people and everything else. And so the same platform that we're doing here with PN is still about, helping people understand how to gain access to capital, contracts, how to understand, your customer experience. And, Matthew's taken over that role at Scott's company. And he's going to pretty much expound on what they do and how they do it. And he's going to give a presentation on how they actually can help companies scale and grow their business to the next level. So without further ado, and not giving y'all Matthew's whole history, his basketball history, his wife history, his son, his 3 sons, the whole 9, Matthew Sprague, and also Leanne is here. I think some of you ladies and guys can see Leanne, who also works with the company as well. So Matthew, again, thank you for being here today, here in the PN community, expounding on what you guys do and how you can help companies scale and grow. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Rodney. And I'm glad you hit record after my story, so I appreciate that. So let me see. I'm gonna just let me know can everybody see this okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So obviously a little bit about Swoz and who we are and what we do is our company and our CEO is Scott Wozniak, as Rodney mentioned. And Scott basically spent 14 years at Chick-fil-A, and what he did was went around and studied the major brands in the world and brought some of the key components back to Chick-fil-A and said, let's implement that. Some cool things, got to see a lot of cool companies and go to a lot of different countries. And he just felt called that said, hey, I've gathered this information and I now need to share it with others, right? And what he's found in this engine that he's developed. And what we do is we'll go over the engine today, the segments and things like that, high level. And then Sonia and Rodney have made it available where we're going to come back and spend a lot more time in depth on these pieces of the engine. But Drew is I like interruptions too. So if anybody has any questions along the way, let me know. Swoz Consulting, we're based out of Noonan, Georgia. We've got about 18. We have 18 team members, and we do everything from helping people build their engine, help with operations, help with moments, help with leadership training, really customer service, sales, all the different departments. And as we go through the engine, you'll start to see a lot more of what we do. So Rodney, were you about to say something?
Yeah, no. So, I did notice here that Scott has pretty much gone bald headed.
Oh yeah, about 2 months ago.
What the hell, man?
He started going.
Is he trying to join my family, or what's he trying to do?
He is. He said it started going. He said, "Forget it, I'm going all in," and he just said, "I'm done with this." So.
All right, man. Way to go, Scott.
Yeah, he. But obviously Leanne's on. She's been with us, I think, almost a year and a half. I want to say a year and a half.
Next month is a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay. Man, close. So she actually is director of our customer experience with our clients, and handles a lot of the fun stuff we get to do with clients. So, but my background, I've had 3 businesses, anywhere from 6 employees to 100 employees, scaled and wore multiple hats. And after my last business, sold my ownership and really felt, aligned to teach the customer experience, and someone said, hey, you should meet Scott Wozniak. And when Scott and I spoke, our values and our goals aligned perfectly on what we wanted to do. And I just said, man, this is where I want to help people. And we stole it from Chick-fil-A, but this is a people world. And no matter what we're doing, look, we are here to help you, and you got questions, ideas, thoughts. I'm not going to send you a bill. We don't do that kind of thing. We just help people. Right. So that's what it's all about, is just sharing life and working together and trying to help each other out. So we'll jump right in. So this is our engine. I want to just take a moment to go over kind of what our engine looks like. We're going to cover the 5 segments here. Is our customer insight, operational excellence, personalized service, memorable moments, and healthy leadership. Now, high level, we're going to go into each one of these because we are going to, I'll show you the dates coming in where we're going to spend a lot more time focused. So if anybody has questions, let me know as we go in. So here's the thing about Zoom too, is I can't see everybody's face. So Leanne, if anybody makes a face or raises their hand, will you let me know? So
I will. Sure.
But the engine is what we believe is, how do you drive raving fans, right? How do you build a system? And it's all about a system, is building the systems, and what do you have to do? It's not like you can just show up and have a smile every day. Now that's part of it, but what can you do in your business overall and try to think things? Well, guess what? It starts with your employees. It starts with your team members. If you want customer raving fans, you've got to work on raving employees. Now, that's a separate subject, but we always iterate is, hey, have a good core, right? Have a good culture. Work on that. Work on those things inside. So, I'm going to open it up. This is for who are you a raving fan of and why? I always like to start because this kind of sets the mindset of what we jump into. So, all right, Drew, I know you and I have been talking. Can you think of a company that comes to mind that you're a raving fan of and why? Since we just met, tell me about somebody.
I'm going to use, of all companies, a company called Breville. I don't have a lot of their product. They make a lot of prosumer things, but I will say that the one experience I had, literally where I had a customer service person because of a problem with the equipment, literally called the local store to make sure I could pick something up because I needed it for the holiday. And whether the company is good or not is inconsequential to the fact that that individual cared so much to make sure that I was taken care of, that he went out of his way. I think that's the reason why. And I'm still a fan of Breville for that.
Awesome. Who else? Because I'm going to share mine, so don't worry. I'm going to give you some, but who else has got one?
Now, everybody, don't be afraid to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of American Express. I've had no issues with them. I think for the size that they are and how long I've been with them for, 21 years, and their level of customer service to me is amazing. So my experiences with them on multiple times has been nothing but spectacular.
I'll say American Express is usually a love-hate. If you're using it and get the value,
Yeah.
you're charging, you get
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Love-hate relationship, right?
Exactly.
No.
Who else?
You guys can raise your hand on here too. If you want to do the chat thing, you can raise your hand. If you got anybody, Robin, Rodale, anybody had a good experience? Dion?
I can go ahead and share. I have a lot of things that I'm a raving fan of, but the main one recently is Dyson for the vacuum cleaner. Just because no matter what issues you have, it's never too complicated to kind of break it down for them. So they're super nice over the phone, in person, all that.
Okay. Good.
Man, I've gotten 3 new ones that I haven't heard before tonight. So that's good. I always like to get some new ones. So as we you know what, here's who I'm a raving fan of, right? Peloton. Anybody use Peloton? Heard of
I'm
Peloton?
not.
Yes.
Their app and their platform is amazing. I mean, everybody thinks of them for their bikes, but their apps and the way they interact and give you classes and things like that. Gooder, anybody familiar with Gooder? It's a sunglass company.
Yeah.
Bombas, anybody heard of Bombas? Okay, I got a couple of thumbs up. I love Bombas, right? They're buy a pair, they give a pair away. They've got great quality, great customer service. I'll tell you a story. I owned 15 pairs of Bombas. Okay. And they had some issues with one of their socks, and I sent them a video and pictures, and I said, hey, I don't know if you have an issue with manufacturing, but I'm giving you a heads up, you might have an issue. And they said, oh, no one's told us that. Thank you so much. And they ended up sending me 5 pairs for free out of nowhere. And but that's what raving fans are, right? That they're willing to tell you and work with you and not just yell at you and be done with it. So that's a raving fan. Delta, I know I'm in Atlanta, so I'm Delta. I know. Sorry. So I know if you're in Dallas, what American? I don't know.
Southwest, man. Come on.
Okay,
man.
okay.
Oh, yeah, Southwest.
I was gonna say I was a little nervous about American because I don't know, but Southwest, yeah, definitely.
Matthew-
Matthew, Trader Joe's.
I have the status at Delta, so I really like them too.
Have you gotten the Porsche ride yet, though? That's what I want to know.
No, but I have been taking back scene on one of their Porsches, you know, to get to my vehicle, my next airplane. So
Yeah. Then yeah, you've traveled a lot then. So
yeah.
So Robin's champion that she loved Delta. Okay.
yeah. I mean, when we dive into it, when we go into more examples in our next session, I'll show you some examples of what Delta's really done to give you some ideas of like, man, those are really good things to help the experience. So Trident Construction company out of Charleston, Capstone Hospice, you know those guys, Rodney. So Buc-ee's, all right, I know Texas Buc-ee's,
Yeah.
right?
They up in Utah and everywhere else, they won't know Buc-ee's probably.
No. Buc-ee's
I
is
don't think Drew would have Buc-ee's either from KC.
Oh, I've been to one once and it's straight up, it's a cult. I mean,
It's memorable for sure.
Yeah, it is.
it is unbelievable. And I
And
can't
you know-
wait to go with my wife.
Rodney, you know what I miss about Texas is Buc-ee's. I miss Buc-ee's. They don't have them in San Diego.
Really? Okay,
So when you'll see the schedules coming up, when we focus on operations, come for that one because we dive into a lot of Buc-ee's stuff and what they do and things like that. So
I
see,
mean,
look at
a
this.
cult, but a cult, Drew, really?
Man, I don't know, man. It is though. They're
If you walk into a Buc-ee's, you can't help but go, oh my God. I mean, the wall of jerky.
Oh, I know.
The way it is, and people come just to see that. I told my wife we'd have to stay, if you get gas there, you got to plan to be in there an hour and a half. Just
Yeah,
to
Spend $300 too.
yeah, minimal an hour. But I mean, people are walking around in Buc-ee's underwear. You know, I mean, hey man, that's
Yeah.
raving fans. So
Right.
their brisket's good, but man, it's
Oh, yeah.
expensive, like you said.
oh, it's good. I always like to talk about Harley. I don't own a Harley, but we always like to talk about Harley because one, if you are talking about raving fans and the true customer experience, raving fans tattoo your logo on their body. I mean, that's just crazy. And that's what fans of Harley do. So I don't know if anybody owns a Harley or has a tattoo Harley, if they even want to say that, but I've only met 2 companies so far. I've been doing this almost about 2 years now. One other company was a pest control company, and he said he had an employee tattoo their company logo on his arm. And I said, man, cannot fire that guy. Do not fire that guy. So
Job
obviously,
security.
yeah, job security. That's right. But some of the other ones, obviously, the Apple. Anybody Apple fans? Usually mixed. Amazon. Who's a fan of Amazon? Yeah, they were. I know. Again, love hate on that. That is, we talk about Amazon a lot because we love using Amazon as a consumer, but then if we're producing and manufacturing something, everybody thinks we should be Amazon and they expect something next day. And it's like, man, like, it's great that we're there, but it puts a lot of pressure on us as business owners of what do we do with our business. Now I left this one here just because it's Disney, but I get mixed everywhere. But anybody fan of Disney?
I'm 2 hands up for Disney.
2 hands up. I
Is
saw a
that
couple.
is that because of the kids though, Leanne, or what?
Oh, I mean, a little bit of it is, but we just
Yeah.
love Disney. Our family goes to go to all the parks. We've gone to 3 out of 6. So
Okay.
we will get to the rest of them at some point.
All right.
So in Chick-fil-A, I don't want to mention Chick-fil-A, but usually everybody's eating at a Chick-fil-A. Is anybody not eating at Chick-fil-A? I'm always just curious. All right, everybody's good with Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I think everybody's good with
Right,
Chick-fil-A.
Okay. So as we talk about raving fans, and what we talk about is, are they really worth it, right? In your business and creating customer experience, and what do they do? And of course they are, right? And what we do is, obviously these are some of the things. At the end, you can get a copy of this deck and I'll give it to Sonia so you can send it out to everybody. But these are some of the just stats about raving fans. But what we really focus on is we want to help you build a customer experience engine that gets raving fans to buy more often, right? That's the whole idea is, hey, we want repetitive clients that are coming to you more than just once. It's not a transaction, it's more like an experience. So who was it? Who said they like Bombas? Okay. Bombas, right? Buy more often. Now I bought more and more often than I normally have. Can I ask you, how many pairs of socks do you own?
I probably because of basketball, I probably own about 300.
All right, that's too many. Anybody else own 300 pairs of socks besides Rodney?
That's entirely
Hey man, basketball, you gotta change them, man, and it feels so good to have like new socks on.
There's just something weird and strange about that.
Yeah, but you gotta have 2 pair a day.
How many drawers does it take to hold 300 pairs of socks?
Now
No,
look.
I got 6 bins. 6 bins.
Now, Rodney, I'm not gonna lie. I'm there with you because I usually take 3 pairs with me when I play basketball.
Right, I'm telling you, it's just, and Robert, you should know this of all people, really.
Yeah.
Come on now, you gotta have a new pair of socks every game. Come on.
Not 300 pair, right?
Okay, whatever, Robert.
So we want, as a rating fan, we want to create an atmosphere to where they buy more often. They pay full price. We want to make sure, hey, they're leading with full price, teach them to pay full price, respect. And obviously we know discounts apply for larger clients and every once in a while, but hey, start with your full price because you offer a service. And then the last one is tell others to buy from you. Is that free marketing pieces? How do we create an experience here with this engine to where clients will come back to you and tell others to buy from you and pay full price? And that's what we're going to talk about. So again, here's the engine. We'll go through the 5 things, have questions. Again, today's session is just a high level introduce you to the engine. Whatever questions you may have, Leanne and I are here to help, and then also in the future. So these are some of Chick-fil-A's engines. So if you think about your business, what are the pillars in your business that make it go, right? Think about what are my goals? What am I striving to do? So my favorite, right, with Chick-fil-A, it's operational excellence, second mile service, and emotional connection. I always love talking about emotional connection with Chick-fil-A because it's food, people, and the third one I love is cows, right? Chick-fil-A somehow has made this connection with cows and chicken, but that was their thing, right? So whatever the goal of your business is to do, make sure you focus on those things. So customer insight, just high level, when we talk about customer insight, it's all about the data that you collect, right? What are you doing and how do you collect data? Is it through surveying, through forms? Is it through your website? But as we dive deeper into it, we talk about who is your ideal customer profile,
Mhm.
In anybody's businesses, do they have an ideal customer profile of who they want to go after?
Do they have an idea?
Yeah. So like,
Some do. Some want have an
Yeah.
idea what they want to go. Yeah, absolutely.
so what an ideal customer profile is what we want to talk about is, who is the ideal customer? Who do you want to go after? Who do you want to buy from you? So here are some key things that we focus on is it gets the most value out of your product or service. Now, like Ronnie, I know he likes basketball, so I'm gonna find out like, hey, are you a Nike, Adidas, what type of sock guy, right? And those focus on that brand, right? Highly engaged. How do we engage our customers? Is it easy to sell to? Is it easy to work with us? Right? How easy is it to do business with us? And again, of course, the last is to refer us to others. So when we talk about our ideal customer and customer insight is who do we want to go after? Who do we want to create that experience for? Now, like for me, I mean, I'm gonna love going to an NBA game and watching basketball. I'm gonna pick on Leanne because I don't know if Leanne would love an NBA basketball, right? But that's what we.
I mean, send me to Disney World for a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Be
Right? So this is where we talk about in our engine is what is the customer profile when we market and we try to sell, know who we're trying to sell to. So I asked anybody want to share like, hey, this is my ideal client, this is the ideal person that I want to do business with.
Don't be bashful. Speak up. Go ahead, Dion. You want to say something? Okay. No. All right, so go ahead, Matt. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody being shy.
All right, no, it's all right. No, it's good. Taking a lot of notes, right? So when we talk about customer insight, and I just noticed, Leanne, sorry, I just saw a bunch of chats pop up. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
You didn't. I've been watching them.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah,
deal.
you're
Thank
not
you.
missing anything.
All right. I make sure no one said, man, this guy's boring. But
We're just taking shots at Rodney.
there you go.
I noticed that.
I need to focus on that then real quick. So when we talk about customer insights, now again, we're going to spend another session talking about this. We're going to give you guys some tools and tactics of like, hey, here's some worksheets, here's some diagrams to fill out on your own. But you got to build a data journey, right? Is dedicate the time to get the insight, bring in great people, Rodney, and I know this group here, we know each other, we can help each other out. This is the one I love. Disregard all assumptions and previous customer understandings. Whatever you think you know about your client, throw that out the door, because sometimes we truly don't understand clients, right? We don't understand where they're coming from. Note the patterns, define the customer persona, again, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then brainstorm. Who do we want to go after? So this is the big piece we start with. It's nothing sexy, but we start with the data piece, trying to identify who our client is and who do we go after. So the next piece we jump into is operational excellence. This is one of my favorite pieces, one, because we look at our business and say, well, how do we operate as a whole? And we always start with insight. If you guys can look at the engine, the insight is our fuel that will feed the engine to allow us to make decisions to create raving fans. Now, look, sometimes we don't use the data and sometimes we do, right? But sometimes we have to make gut decisions. But in operations, the big thing comes down to trust. Can I trust you? This is the best quote that I love sharing with people is every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. And what that does is whatever system you have built within your operations, let's say you're not happy with something, or, hey, I want to make sure I'm providing this service. Well, what operations what procedure and what system can you put in place to make that happen? So I'm going to ask this. There's one word that can help with trust. It begins with a C. I'll even give you a hint. When you're talking about trust with your clients and trust in business,
Communication.
who said that?
Robin.
Robin. All right. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate it. Yes, communication. This is a big piece where we talk about how do you communicate? How do we communicate to people? How do we communicate to clients?
Thank you.
I just make sure I didn't miss somebody there. But in operational excellence is, the first thing is, can I trust you? Can I trust doing business with you and do this? So no knock on McDonald's, but I always use McDonald's for this example. Is everybody had McDonald's fries before?
Yep.
Right. How good are they when they're dead on?
Good.
They're really good, right?
Really good. Yeah.
But do you trust that they'll be that good every single time?
No.
And that's the tough part. That's the tough thing about building trust and doing that is how do we do that? How do we make sure we build trust and keep that, right? So here's 3 things that we'll dive into. Not tonight, because I know I got a tight time. So but hire with excellence, right? When you're hiring people and looking at employees, we call it the 3 C's: the character, chemistry, and competence. So with this group and when hiring with excellence, who thinks with your business and where you're at, or if you're looking to hire, which one do you think you would hire first for?
Probably the character.
Character? Okay. Who else?
I would pick competence.
Competence? Make sure they know what they're doing.
I think most would look at competence as their initial hiring criteria. At least I know in the businesses I've been in, that's been the number one item out of those C's versus the character and the chemistry.
It's interesting you say that, because it's different, right? You look at somebody that has really the competence piece, right? But they don't have a good character and they have no chemistry with your team.
Exactly.
Right. So we call them disruptors. Now,
Right.
again, you see where the arrow is pointing. We want a little bit of all of them, right? But business leaders, we think if we hire somebody that has good character and is good chemistry, hopefully I can try to teach them my business, right? Or teach them about the product where they can go.
Yep. And that's always a challenge too, because you can get competence, you get chemistry, and then there's no character. You just can't work together, right? And so I've always, you and I talk about that, Matt, but the character, you can show them what you do and how you do it, and they can take you a lot further once they understand everything. So.
Yeah, it is. And there's no wrong answer here. It could be different part. If you're in engineering, if you're like, hey, I'm an engineering company, well, you might want to hire smart engineers, right? So it's different, but in most businesses, they look for chemistry and character.
Hey, you know what, Matt? I'm gonna do one thing though. I'm gonna pick on somebody real quick, and I know he got pissed off at me. So hey, Drew, I'm gonna pick on you. Drew knew it was coming, right? He knew it was coming because Drew's led people around the world, around the country. Drew, what would you say? I just want to hear your perspective on this one.
I think leadership typically will answer the volleyball question of its character and chemistry first. The irony of it is that your HR typically does just the opposite, which is the first thing they're looking for is the competencies. I would take somebody of character and grit any day over somebody who's competent and lazy. And I say it that way because I think that's the challenge that you face. You want somebody who has the competency already, but most people, when they're hired by a team, the first thing they're going to hear is, well, you don't have any experience in A, B, or C. And that experience is exponential to their business. And I'll use manufacturing because I've done so much in the manufacturing space. Every manufacturing company, since those 2 manufacturing companies, one was for lasers and brake pressing and forming and molding, and one was ammunition production. I've had every company say, well, you don't have any experience in our manufacturing. like it's some sort of a rocket science doesn't exist. Most of the people on a team that you create, you want them to have the character to learn, to grow, to adapt. And if you have that, the competencies are going to come. Hope that answers it.
Yep, good.
All right. I mean, I should just picked on you first before I went in.
I tried, hey, Matt, I tried to give you a hit,
Well,
man. I
you know,
tried to
and
give you a hit.
you could also
Meeting-
give we all
meeting
have
over.
we all have bad examples of it, you know, and I say it that way. Rodney knows, you know, leading soldiers in combat. You have a lot of soldiers who are, you have to train them to be competent, but it's not the competence that ever gets an organization in trouble. I mean, bad luck happens, things happen in combat, but usually bad things happen because of character. And you think of all the things that you hear, even at the national level, that started at the lowest level of poor character. And you think of Abu Ghraib prison or anything like that. That started at the lowest level in our military, not having the right character to do what's right when nobody's watching. So there's the challenges that you face with big organizations.
Well,
Meeting
and-
over.
go ahead. Who said that? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I said meeting over. That was good.
Yeah. I know he's going to send me a bill, aren't you, Drew? So
Just being on with y'all is enjoyment and pay for me.
but it's true. It's a lot of times, you know, we look at job descriptions and this is what we hire for, and we don't think about, you know, hey, how do they come in? So that's why we say hire with excellence with the 3 C's. So the second is put a leader on it. Make sure that somebody's on, you know, operational excellence. We'll dive more into this part, but I like, anybody ever, like, I have 3 boys and a dog. I do have a wife, but 3 boys. I'll tell my boys, right? I say, hey, can you guys feed the dog? Well, guess what? All 3 of them will tell me in 30 minutes. I thought so-and-so was doing it. Right? So if you tell 10 people to do something, who's going to get it done? And then that's where we got to think about our excellence is when if it's you right now wearing all the hats, I mean, that's on you. But if you have a team and people under you, what are they clearly doing? Is it defined, right? Because again, I like doing the telling about feed the dog story because it's so true, right? It's like, well, I thought so-and-so was doing it because, you know, no one took the initiative to say it's on me. But if you give it to one person, you know, they'll get the task done for you. I was waiting for Drew on that one. I saw him laugh, but so hire with excellence, put a leader on it, and then focus on excellence. Do less. 80-20 rule, right? We talk about are you doing too much? How do we do less? And great example. So it's not always about food, but anybody been to Cheesecake Factory?
Oh, yeah.
Couple people. How many pages is their menu?
Too many.
Yes, way too many.
Yep.
Way too many, right?
Way too many.
So if you go into somewhere and Leon's like, man, Matt, don't knock Cheesecake Factory, but you know,
I feel the same way. It's not a pleasant experience with the menu.
I just go there for the strawberry shortcake.
it's good. You know, but I don't understand how, like, if you're in your business thinking about, I got to offer 50 different products, are you going to be good at 50 products, right? And you think about the Cheesecake Factory, you think they got to cook for every single one of those, you know, sandwiches, desserts, all those different things. I mean, they have their system, but how do you become perfect? And that's what we talk about is focus on the things you think you can be really good at and stick with the winners and do it. And, you know, some of us sometimes say, oh, I know this will get me revenue. I want to sell this. I want to do this. But, you know, how many problems does it cause? How many issues does it cause that disrupt your business? So operational excellence, hire with excellence, put a leader on it, focus on excellence and you know, the 80-20 rule. So I jumped ahead, Rodney, but here we go. This is my McDonald's quote, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Can I trust you? Being inconsistently excellent will earn you the same trust as being consistently bad.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about, again, McDonald's, right? And if anybody, not knocking McDonald's, but just their fries, I mean, they're on maybe 2, 3 out of 10 times,
Yep.
right? And you tease clients to where, like, that's what I want. How come I don't get that every time? Now, look, we know everybody's not perfect, but can you deliver 8 out of 10 times perfectness? And that's when we think about your operations is, how do we not be inconsistent? When we are inconsistent, guess what the customer loses? Trust.
Mhm.
So they lose trust in us, right? And that's one thing we don't want to do, is allow them to lose trust in us. So again, operational excellence, we got to focus on these things and look at our business and how do we run things and how do we do things? How do we deliver proposals? How do we deliver invoices? How do we make something? It's everything in our business is operations. So within operations, though, if you guys look, so this is what we call mapping out a customer journey, right? And this is one we're going to spend a lot of time in one of our breakout sessions in a couple of weeks, is giving you some examples of how do I, like, maybe you're just starting, maybe you've been in business a year, maybe 2 and 10 years, but have you ever mapped out what the customer goes through in your business, right? And this is what operations comes down to, is how do they start and where do they go through, and then identify areas in your business in the journey where you say, hey, we're failing here. Has anybody ever done this before, where they map out the
Yeah,
business?
yeah. During the lean thinking and lean enterprises, the value stream mapping.
Yeah, value stream mapping. Yep. What did you find anything when you did that?
Yeah, the tributaries of business usually run vertical, where the customer experience is horizontal. And so the departments fight each other. So you get leakage throughout the department. So the experience is diluted by the time the customer gets to talking to their friends about it.
Yeah. And that's it's funny you say that, because that's where I'm going Friday. Is I'm going to work with a client on their customer experience journey, and I've got sales, customer service, finance, and operations, about 50 people in the same room trying to map out their journey, right, of their
Yeah.
client. And everybody sees it differently, don't they?
To do it.
Yeah, absolutely. They have their own agendas.
And that's the struggle we got to work with, is how do we get everybody to get on the same page and work together here and find the same goal. But a great exercise is have all your different departments map out their journey and see if anything looks the same at the end. It's pretty funny what maybe not ha funny, but it's ironic of how everybody sees it a little different. So again, this will be available at the end. So, or obviously we'll get it out. So if you're like, Matt, I really like this, I'd like to have it. So, but mapping out the customer journey and what do we do and how do we go there? So again, we just talked about marketing, sales, customer success, operations, finance. What does your business look like through the entire process? What do we do? So the customer journey is the operations piece. As we jump into personalized service, this is how do we get to know people? When we jump into this, we'll show you guys a Chick-fil-A training video. I've seen it about 50 times, but it is very moving. Rodney, you've seen that one, haven't you?
Yep, I have.
Yeah. So when we talk about personalized service, we talk about how do we make a personalized connection with our engine, right? Instead of just a transaction, instead of just we ship that out for you. How do we become person to person in our business? And it's really more about, do you care about me, right? Are you able to hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying? And what are we doing? So we dive into those things and dive into these things. These are 4 key behaviors that I like to share with Chick-fil-A uses when they are trying to make a personal connection: is create eye contact, share a smile, speak enthusiastically. Try to say that 5 times fast. Stay connected. Right? So these are the 4 things when they say, hey, we want to make a personal connection, that we do. you think about it, I always think about I came out, I worked for Hilton in the hospitality industry. And then I worked on the front desk for 3 years as a manager. And they always said, before you even pick up a phone, they said, everybody smile real quick and then pick up the phone and say hello, right? And it's funny sometimes when we smile, what that does for us and how the person on the other side feels when they're with you, right? So it's not about just knowing like, hey, what's their favorite basketball team, right? Or what's their favorite pet? How many kids do they have? Those are good things to have, but it's showing up and connecting personally every time. So in this section, we go through how do you care about me with high touch and high tech? My thing is all right, so anybody in here send out gifts at the end of the year to their clients?
Yep.
And yeah, so people send in the year. What we do through here is talk about how do you not do that? Ronnie's like, man, don't do that to me, Matt. But everybody is sending out gifts at the end of the year. So how do you?
Hey man, listen, everybody don't have money to go get all the gifts.
Well, it could be anything. It could be a handwritten note you send out, right? Like,
man, listen, already it doesn't work. Man, can I get a ticket to the game? Can I go here?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean when they're asking for that, right? But it's how do we show up if it's high touch? What are we doing? We'll show you some systems of how to do that and using technology, right? But it's all how do we stay connected and making a personal connection. Leanne gets to do some of this fun stuff, and she gets to order some of the fun gifts and things like that for our clients. So, right. Leanne, I'm gonna put you on the spot, and she's like, "Great, I was just here to listen." But
I was.
but I'm sure she's gonna blow me up after this. But like, what are some of the things? Can you share some of the things we've done on the personal side and of how we get connected?
Sure. We actually just recently this summer had in Charleston, where it's hot, had a workshop, and we brought a Kona ice truck, just thinking a little bit outside of the box, trying to help them think about community of their business. And so we brought that in. We also ordered, we did like New Year's gifts at the end of January instead of the typical Christmas gift. And to our open projects, we sent them a box of cookies, and they had our Swoz logo on them, and just were really personalized for New Year's, not Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, so one, I love the idea of cookies, but it was my fault. I own it. I don't know why we sent cookies at the end of January. Everybody's like, I'm trying to go to the gym right now, right?
We're like, here, guys, for those that have fallen off the wagon already.
Yeah, already. You made it 2 weeks. Here's have some cookies. So
sure. We actually also had a client meet a really big goal this summer. And so we sent them a little bag of individual popcorn with a sticker that said, congratulations on meeting your goal, and just small little touches that let them know we're thinking of them. It puts our name with the congratulations, and just really kind of ties it together. So we've gotten great feedback on all the things we've sent out also.
Well, I have to say, for being put on the spot, you did a really good job, Leanne. So
thank you.
Yeah, because Leanne, you're on the spot because I did not get my cookies.
Oh, you're on the list, Rodney, for next year.
No, we'll step it up, Rodney. I know what to get to.
Hey, and I was just about to send you guys a bobblehead of me. Wow.
Hey, if you got one, I'll take one. I can't turn my computer right now, but I have a shelves of bobbleheads over here. So
okay, all right, cool.
I'll put one up of you.
Right.
But no, these are the things that we talk about personalized connection. What do we do, and how do you get to know your clients, and how do you get to learn and do those things? So again, these are some of the team members. How do they do this, right? They call it the 3-table touch. I love this is Chick-fil-A. If you've ever eaten at Chick-fil-A, that they don't come and ask you how you're doing. They ask you if you would like your beverage refilled. that's the way of making a connection when you're actually eating in the store is, they ask you for refills. But there's some of the things that they do. So how do we make a connection? Again, we're going to dive more into that. The last piece, memorable moments. And this is really who the story is about. Who's the story about with your client? I always like talking about this because we work with real estate agents, and I don't know if anybody's a real estate agent or not, but sometimes real estate agents will send a gift right at a closing or something, but it'll have like the Remax logo on it, the Keller Williams logo on it. We like to send out charcuterie boards, cutting boards, but we don't put any of our stuff on it. It's all about the client and who it is. It's not even the client's logo, it's their name. So like Drew, I mean, I've been picking you on it much, and you probably deserve a board, but it would show up with your name on it and nothing else, right? So who's the hero about, and what do we do? And these are the things we dive into and try to teach is, how do I feel about myself with you personally and professionally? Now, I'm not going to hit up Rodney for tickets all the time because I know he's getting hit up all the time. So, but I am going to take him up on playing basketball. So, right.
I got you.
But how do we create a moment in our business? And it's, what do we do in the beginning? What do we do in the middle if something's go wrong? And then how do we end and finish? This is kind of the big area where we struggle in business with, because we get so task focused of what's next, what's next. And we don't celebrate these things. I mean, Leanne can yell at me right now because probably a lot of time I don't get to celebrate things with her enough, right? But we got to celebrate, enjoy life. Life is way too short, and we should be celebrating. Right, Robin? What was it again? What's your be happy? What was your?
Oh my!
Message.
Be crazy, be stupid, be silly, be weird, be whatever, because life is too short to be anything but happy.
We got to enjoy it. I love it. I mean,
you got to send it out to everybody, Robin.
Yeah, you got to do it. So, we have to understand too with our clients is there's and where we're in business, a lot of things are hard work. We should celebrate these things. All right, so some of the memorable moments. These are just two quick examples: is Chick-fil-A and the cows. What they do for cows. But the big thing is the daddy-daughter date night. I just got one for mothers and sons, but it's not near us at all. But I was like, man, I don't have any daughters, but they set it up to where the dads can bring their daughters to Chick-fil-A and they take you around. Ours does a limo, and they drive you around and you sit at the table, you bring your food, right? It's still a chicken sandwich, chicken nuggets, or a salad, right? It's not like the menu goes different. But what I love is if you look here, with the gentleman and his daughter here, Chick-fil-A they thought about the experience, but then they said, all right, what's going to happen if they put their phones down and can't talk to each other? So what they thought about was, let's put cue cards on the table for the dad to ask questions to his daughter if he doesn't know how to engage in a conversation. And so it wasn't about the experience in the store. It's more about the connection of those two. And that's what a memorable moment is how do we make a connection to where we can celebrate? So again, all these high level, healthy leadership team, one of the things we like to work on is, all right, who knows the difference between a track team and a football team? It could even be a basketball team versus a track team. Who knows the difference? All right, Robin, I see it. What do you think the difference is?
I think track is a more individualized sport where you really only have yourself to rely on. It's you on you in that lane, you versus the previous time, where basketball is more of a team sport where you are leveraging your teammates out on the court, how they move through the lanes, how they set screens, how you come off a screen. So that's kind of how I see a little bit of the difference.
Yeah, we dive into it. It's perfect, right? Is football, basketball, every single person has an intricate part to winning, right? The track team, you run a 5-second 100-meter dash, and it's you're crushing it, right? But your team as general may not be able to go on to the next level, but you do. versus basketball and football. And think about it in business within your teams. We were talking about that in the customer journey is how does finance, sales, customer service, operations all work together? And how do we break down those silos? So this is an area where we kind of dive into some of that is how do we get people to work together and do a better job together as a team? So, and of course, the best indicator is how good are your team meetings? You know, what do we do? How healthy are your team meetings? Are you the one leading them? Again, if you're just one person, then you might feel like you have an amazing meeting all the time, right? But if you have multiple meetings, I mean, Leanne knows I have a lot of one-on-one meetings with myself that are amazing. But you know, that's in my mind. But you know, does your team get to speak, right? Do they feel like they're empowered to speak with you? So, you know, these are the 5 areas that we're going to be going over within the community in the next areas. But obviously, I hit everything high level, and I told Sonia and Rodney, but hey, I want to introduce this to you guys, show you what it is, and if we're going to dive into it more. Let me see. I think I have it here. Here's the dates that we're going to dive into more of each topic. But I'd love to open it up, you know, for Rodney. I know we got 5 minutes here, but
yeah, no, we just open up for Q&A. So Sonia, we can send this out. We want to make sure we send it out to everybody in the community too, because I know we'll have a lot more people chiming in. But you know what? Before we do that, I'd like to go back, and I hate to keep picking on Drew, but Drew, I really want to hear your team concept because I know what you've done for us around the country. So I just like to hear your perspective on the team side. You know, the difference between individual and team.
You know, I think everybody here has so many cool experiences, and I really, it's almost you're beating the same drum, but it takes an incredible amount of leadership to continue to beat on that same drum because you're never done. Your culture is always evolving, and sometimes it's getting better, and sometimes it's getting worse. You know, but when you start thinking about, you know, this engine that you're talking about here, let's look at the Tampa Rays. They're the lowest salaried baseball team in Major League Baseball right now, and they have the best record. Now let's talk about the New York Yankees and the New York Mets. Okay, the opposite side of the spectrum. So, you know, how do you get everybody to, number one, appreciate what everybody else is contributing to the team, and also understand what their responsibility is to the team? And I think that's the biggest piece. So, you know, you got to take care, you got to know yourself, you got to know your customers, and you got to know your enemy, because there's an enemy out there who's always trying to take you down a notch when it comes to revenue or whatever it might be. But if it starts from within your house, and leadership starts this, and the leadership is walking that walk. If the leadership cares about customers, I can guarantee the members of the team will care about customers. If they see the leaders out there, you know, embracing the customer when they come in the door, going out to the customer and asking them what their needs are, and coming back to the team and saying, hey, we're pivoting here because the customer said something that was an opportunity for us to help them, and we're going to jump on that. Everybody on the team starts to hear that. One of the best metrics of success I've always applied is if you can get a member of your team to sell the product, why would you sell it? Especially when it comes to even the lowest level manufacturing guys, or your lowest young soldier in the field. If he or she is out there living by that same values that you set, you know you've done something right. Every one of these, Matt, I can't wait to hear all of these. I think every one of them have some great opportunities for everybody, and I would urge that the best way, even from internal to the community here, is to sort of post some of the results and some of the things that you came away from today with, so that other people go, damn, I wish I would have been there today. So they come to the next ones. I think that's helping that customer experience as well. Hope that helps. That was what you're looking for, Rodney.
No, that's good. That's good. So Matt, if anybody got any Q&A for Matthew, for Leanne, by all means, ask the questions.
Yeah, and that's good because again, we're going to dive into it more. Again, usually when I do this, it's about 90 slides and I've got 4 hours. So instead of keeping everybody on here for 4 hours, we thought it might be best to break it up. So, but you know, it doesn't happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. And I'll throw this out there. You know, Chick-fil-A, big thing is they say it's my pleasure. And they took that from the Ritz, by the way. But it took them 5 years to get their managers to start saying it's my pleasure. 5 years. There are some things that just can't happen overnight, but good things will happen. You just got to keep it going, keep grinding. So I'll leave it up now, Rodney. You know me, I can talk a while. So
No, man, this is good. So, you know, again, I think Robbie just left something in the chat too. But, you know, this is a lot, you know, that can be like just expand throughout the community and everywhere else, that we started to drive more people in who need to get an understanding of how, you know, you experience the, you know, the customer and help a customer understand your products and service and, you know, render all the things to them, because you want repeat customers. Absolutely, you want that. So, you know, Matthew, you and Leanne doing an outstanding job. You know, we're happy to be partners with you guys as well, so that we can help a lot of companies around the country understand how this works, because a lot of small businesses and medium-sized businesses, they don't get this type of knowledge or get this from a subject matter expert, you know, as I explained to Dave Robbins and Drew and others. This is not a recurring thing that happens on a day-to-day. It's just not. So we're going to, you know, help, you know, a lot of businesses understand how to take full advantage of these type of opportunities, so you can build up a better platform for your customers or the employees that you're bringing on, and everybody needs to follow, you know, the leader. So I thank you again, Matthew, for bringing this to life today here in PN.
yeah.
Thank you, Leanne, for sharing all the gifts that you give, but you didn't give me my cookies. Thank you so much.
They're in the mail, Rodney.
You're
They're
in the mail.
and tell Scott that, hey, he gonna have to join this one day, you know, and quit like travel around the world, right?
Oh yeah, he'll be on this. And Rodney, I appreciate everybody the time tonight and allowing us. I mean, obviously part of the group, and we're excited. There's some fun stuff, and hopefully, you know, this will give you a quick intro and be like, all right, I want to learn more about that, or I want to more about that. So I have a picture of Leanne, even though she's right there. So if you want a copy of this, you can scan this code with your phone real quick, or I'll give it to Sonia to share as well. But if you want it immediately, go ahead and scan the code, and I think it'll ask you, you know, if you just want a copy of this one, we'll get it to you. So, but we'll share with everybody as well. So.
Now, man, this is high tech, dude. Really, you just made us look really bad, you know.
You know, hey man, we're trying to step up our game, Rodney. You know, so
I see you, man. Golly, this is high tech stuff. All right, Sonya, you got to get on your game plan.
Got it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you, everyone, for attending. This was great. I look forward to the entire series, Matt. I learned a lot here. And of course, Chick-fil-A is my favorite. From the time I drive up to the time I take my order to the time most of the team members greet you when they're handing you your food to when they say my pleasure. So it's a great experience at Chick-fil-A.
Well, it is, again, taking this knowledge and taking our life experiences and trying to help others. This is what we do. And we're here to help each other. Again, I love Chick-fil-A because it's not about chicken. It's all about the people.
Right.
And I believe the same thing. So.
Well, thank all of you for joining this evening. Thank you guys for participating and not being quiet and asking questions. And like I said, Matt, thanks for the wonderful presentation. And I know that everybody will be looking forward to, you know, seeing the rest of this. So we'll get it out, and we'll try to get it out as many. We need to drive a lot more people to, you know, to the presentation. So thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.
Guys, y'all have a wonderful night.
Everybody have a great week. Be careful.
Thank you very much.
Safe. Okay. All right, Dave. All right, everybody, take care.
See y'all. Thanks.
Bye.